Have you ever wondered how much of your landlord's mortgage you pay off every month?
Moving forward with the DekkerTeam. Moving forward together with the DekkerTeam.
So we've created for you free access to over 367 YouTube videos on all kinds of things, tips to have a better home life, a better life, more insight into real estate, into building wealth, whatever you need around real estate and your life, you get exactly what you need when you want it, whether you're at home, at the office, or on the go. So probably the answer to that question of how much money do you pay of your landlord's mortgage?
I'd love to know.
You'd like to know?
Yeah.
I figured it out. It's about 1/3
Okay.
of your rent payment goes directly to paying down their mortgage.
Wow.
Another third goes to interest, and another third goes to taxes and insurance and maintenance. So, maybe in this show we're giving landlords a little bit of a tough go. I'm a landlord.
Yep.
You've been a landlord.
Yes.
And we serve a purpose. There's certain times people need to rent, and it's a great wealth building tool for us as landlords. Now, sometimes the rent just covers all the expenses and the mortgage payment, but that includes the mortgage pay down. Sometimes you're short a little bit. Sometimes some of my buildings have positive cash flow, which means I make extra money every month. So that's kind of cool. So let's calculate it on a typical rental property. So Candace, let's say you were renting a property. Let's say a small townhouse
Yep.
at $1,800 a month.
Okay.
Okay, makes sense?
Yep.
That's fairly typical of someone who's starting out, a family starting out, that they might be renting a townhouse. So if 1/3 of 1,800
Yep.
is 600.
Yep.
Yeah, so $600 a month is going to principal pay down of the mortgage. So in a year, if we multiply by 12, that's $7,200. Does that sound like a lot of money?
It does.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like when I first was renting and I started calculating what I paid over the last 5 years in rental, like your mom and I, we weren't quite as sharp as you. We didn't buy a house at 20. We got married at 20 and then we rented for like 5 years. But my goal was to own a house by the time I hit 25.
Okay.
And then I started calculating what we'd spent in rent over the last 5 years, and it made me kind of sick to my stomach. So I said, okay, it's time to make a change. But I never looked at it this way around how much of the mortgage is paid down. So $7,200 per year. Let's say you were in the house for 10 years.
Yep.
Renting. How much of the mortgage did you pay down?
$72,000.
Ooh.
Wow.
That'd buy you a fancy Mustang GT convertible with some cash left over for gas.
And nowhere to live except for the back seat.
Nowhere to live. Yeah, if you're going to live in your car, I wouldn't recommend a Mustang.
No.
maybe a big SUV if you're going to live in it. Not fun in the wintertime, though.
No.
So $72,000. Now, let's say you were going to rent the property for the 25 years. And I've ran into people who have rented the same property from a landlord for 25 years. That means if it was a 25-year amortization, they paid off the entire mortgage. Now, in a small townhouse, I said that's about $300,000. It's probably a little more than that.
Yeah.
But let's just say they put down $100,000 on their $400,000 townhouse. $300,000 you've paid off for the landlord. Now let's look on the other side. If the tenant had said, okay, I'm going to buy that property.
Yep.
Right? And I'm going to live in it for 25 years. So I'm going to pay off the $300,000 mortgage. Now, what else has happened to the value of the property, though?
Property value has gone up over the 25 years.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Well, you say, oh, yes, because you're talking historically, right? Historically, values in Ottawa have gone up about 4.5% per year.
Annually, yep.
Yes. And right now it's going up about 7% per year. So if it went up 4.5% for the 25 years, I bet you don't know how much it's gone up.
I don't.
Okay.
A lot.
I did have to use a calculator.
Okay.
It's close to about $800,000 it's gone up.
Wow. Up or total?
Up.
Up.
Yes.
Wow.
So look out in 25 years what you got to pay for a townhouse. It's going to be crazy. Now your mortgage you paid down, let's say 300. So the 800 plus the 300 is $1.1 million.
Wow.
So you can become a millionaire simply by buying a townhouse and staying in it for 25 years if the historical data continues. And history is one of the best indicators of the future.
Right.
Right? Yeah, so isn't that nuts?
That is incredible.
What do you think?
You blew my socks off.
Were you even wearing socks?
No.
So it's amazing. You know, one of the things I love is when we help some of our senior people move out of a home. It's an emotional time because they're moving out of a home that they may have lived in for 30, 40 years because people didn't change houses quite
Like
as
they
much.
do now. No.
And so this is a family home, probably raised the kids there. Often it's only one spouse left. It's a little bit sad. And they say to me, please get me the most for my house, or I'm dealing with a child. And they say, please get them the most for their property because this is all the money they have for their retirement residence.
Yes.
And it's got to last a long time. So what's interesting is these, a lot of times these houses, they paid $20,000 for them and they're worth $400,000, $500,000 because they're in great mature neighborhoods and they're in demand. So even though they may not be upgraded, they're generally well maintained, we find. And they're worth like $500,000.
Yes.
And that's why it's not a far stretch to say your $400,000 townhome's going to be worth over $1 million in 25 years, right?
Yep.
So I really struggle to think, well, what would happen if that couple didn't have the dream of home ownership and struggle to find the down payment? Because back then there wasn't 5% down.
Right.
It was 20% down or 25% down, or you didn't buy a house.
Yeah.
So they scrimped and struggled and worked to buy this house. And they may have done without some things.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We're in a society where we don't like to do without things.
No. We like a vacation and we like lots of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So in our next segment, we're going to talk about things that a tenant, a renter, can do to help build the down payment and fix their credit for the future of buying a property.
Yes.
And I think if you think, I would like for when your children are running our real estate DekkerTeam business, that they go to places and that person says, oh, I'm ready to sell my house. The DekkerTeam helped me buy it
Right.
25, 30 years ago. And they now have all that equity and value in the property. So there's an old saying, when's the best time to plant a tree?
20 years ago?
20 years ago. So the next best time to plant a tree is?
Today.
Right now.
Yeah.
And the same goes with buying a home. I always say, don't wait to buy a house and wait.
Awesome.
So thanks for growing alongside the DekkerTeam, because we're passionate about helping families thrive in their life, both at home and at work.
Moving forward with the DekkerTeam. Moving forward together with the DekkerTeam.